What's good, people? This week's episode does include some triggering themes such as sex trafficking and sexual abuse, so please watch or listen with caution. We're sorry if this may be traumatic for you. To help minimize any distress, we've marked the chapters for the relevant segments in the description. Thank you.
Wagwan peeps, it's Venom, what you saying? Alongside my home slice, damn to the Zane. When she and I get together on the poddy, ask anybody, the vibes are insane.
Join our family and feel free to come by. Be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yeah.
New drop on the way every Monday at 6.
Tune in and come see what we unpick. What's good, people? It's your boy Venom in the building. Welcome back to the Unpicked podcast. I'm here alongside my co-host, Dammy to the Zane.
Hey, hello, hi. The building.
Home slice with the D. You get me? I only roll with girls that got D's. You get me? Anyway, so well,
I mean, that can be seen or taken in two different ways, you know.
That can be taken in many different ways. And seeing as it's Pride Month, you know, who knows?
I do not have that sort of D. Okay. I mean, I have other D's. Well, no, TMI.
Yeah? Yeah? Okay.
TMI. It's
Thank
too
you
early.
for joining us,
It's
boy.
too early.
Thank you for joining us. We turned it up literally immediately. So,
Immediately.
yeah, man, this is going to be a good episode. We're going to be talking a little bit about the LGBTQ plus community. There's bare letters. I feel it's easier to say the letters that's not in it than that's in it. But we're going to be talking about the LGBTQ plus community. We're going to be talking about R.Kelly. We're going to be talking about, the McDonald's thing with the baby mama drama. But yeah, before we get into that, obviously we start the episode with a game. So Dammy is in the not hot seat. I'm in the hot seat. Dammy's in the firing seat.
Yeah.
For this and that. So yeah, man, let's giggity go.
Let's go. So, podcast bestie.
Hey.
You know I like a good music, this or that. It's my bag, yeah. So, I'm taking it back to the 90s, late 80s, early 90s for you. And the question on the table today is, which of these artists were more popular? Yeah. In your opinion. You ready, yeah?
I'm ready, man. I'm born ready, you know.
I see you with the shades. I see you.
Hey, daddy. You know? Oh, you know, actually, I can't do Hey Daddy. It's got to be... Have you seen the meme? It's an old one, but my friend sent it to me and I keep doing it now. Hi, gay. That's the pride. That's the pride meme.
Hi, gay. I like it.
Hi,
okay.
gay.
Taking it back. You ready? Oh, and it's extended, by the way. I you know me. I don't play by the rules. So I got more than 3. So we'll start with Blackstreet versus Jodeci.
Blackstreet versus... Which one was more popular?
Yeah.
Blackstreet.
Okay. Boys to Men or Tony.
Oh, wow. That was probably...
Anniversary.
Oh, but then it did get kind of peak. It's probably Boys to Men, you know? It's probably Boys to Men.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll be surprised if people know who Tony is. I feel like not a lot of people know who they are.
They don't. They had a lot of influence, but their generation was...
It's slightly
obviously,
before
yeah.
us. Yeah. Okay. SWV or TLC?
Oh, TLC by far. Because Waterfalls, yeah.
I was gonna do Escape, but I thought not everyone knows Escape.
Nope. Even SWV
versus Escape.
That would have been harder.
That would have been more.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige or Faith Evans?
Oh, you did that. Okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
It's definitely Mary J, but I'm more Faith
Mm.
in terms of what I would listen to. I flipping love Faith's albums, man. Some of them
Yeah.
anyway. Some of
She's
them tracks.
underrated. She's underrated.
She
She's underrated.
mad underrated.
Big time.
And that's not
Okay.
to say
Okay.
anything about Mary, because Mary's sick. Mary's sick.
Remember Auntie
Mm-hmm.
Mary? I do a really good Mary dance impression, and maybe when we do our live show one day, I'll hit you with the Mary J, and I'll hit you with the
I
Lil Kim.
mean, I mean, can you not just film it and cut it in right here so everyone
No,
could just
no, no.
get a little preview,
no preview.
see a
That's for
little
the peeps that
step?
want to come to the live show when we finally do it. Okay, and I'm gonna come with the Mary. It's sick as well. You'd think it's
Okay.
her. You'd be like, is it Mary? Is that Mary? Usher versus Cisco. And I'm not talking popular now. This is the thing.
Yeah, you're talking about at their peak.
At that time. Mm-hmm. Let me see your booty go. Did it.
Yeah, it's Usher because Cisco fumbled the bag. He fumbled the bag differently. He fumbled the bag
He
differently
did. He
with
did.
Return of the Dragon, because he got like 2 albums in it. Whereas Usher, like, he kind of did about 3, and then he kind of fumbled the bag. But Cisco did 1 and then fumbled the bag.
Joe or Donnell Jones?
Oh, it was more. I just have to go with myself in this one, so it's going to be Donnell Jones. I was more Donnell Jones than I was Joe. Can't lie. You know that I love you.
Yeah, but I don't want to be a player no more.
Girl, you mean the world to me.
All right.
Just said, yeah, man.
Okay.
Donnell's smooth with it. But Stutter with Mystical as
But
well, the remix.
Joe, Loverman Joe.
Joe did bits, man. Joe did bits. He's not to be, yeah, I mean.
So
Yeah.
you said Blackstreet,
Yep.
Boys to Men, TLC, Faith Evans, Usher, and Donnell Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
This week, or last week, we were blessed with the tiny desk we never knew we were going to get. Mr. Usher Raymond stepped into the library and he, watch this.
Watch this.
Yeah, I still haven't watched it, you know. I'm literally been waiting. I've been waiting because I've been busy. This weekend I was in Center Parks. I've been busy, and I said, no. I need undivided attention for this Usher. How long is that? 15 minutes?
About 20.
Okay, exactly. This to me is gonna be a concert. This is going on the speaker, big screen, and then I'm just gonna tiny desk it out. So, and I didn't have the facilities to do that, big man. So yeah, I'm coming for it. But I've seen because of you, Miss Dami to the Zane, I've seen a lot of memes and they are flipping killing me.
Killing me.
But what's your rating of the performance? I can't even give the rating. I know he smashed it.
Oh man, I'm annoyed that you didn't watch it, man. I sent it to him. I was like,
yeah, I know.
Bestie, can you watch this? Literally.
I know.
Literally, like, watch this. Literally.
Watch it.
I forgive you this time.
Yeah, no, you can spoil it. I
loved it. I mean, it's Usher.
Exactly.
What's there not to love? I'm surprised they didn't have him on before.
Yeah, to be fair.
Because I feel like Tiny Desk tends to, like, most of the Tiny Desks I've seen have been like newer emerging artists or artists that are like popping right now, apart from like the odd few times where they do people like throwbacks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like when they did the T-Pain one.
And they did Wu-Tang, didn't they?
And did Wu-Tang. So yeah, I was surprised that Usher hadn't done it before now, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've watched it about 4 times already because, and Usher's voice, he's just got an amazing voice.
He's amazing.
Like, he can serenade me anytime, baby.
Me too, daddy. Hi, gay. Anyway.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Like, yeah,
No, Usher the
it was
guy.
good. It was
Usher
good.
the guy.
There's been previous Tiny Desks that I liked more, but simply because it's Usher, I'm like, yeah, I'm down. I'm down. I'm game.
Well, this is another point anyway in favor of Usher for this comparison that always comes up between Chris Brown and Usher when Lord knows that Chris Brown can't even sing anymore and Usher still got it. So
I just think that you can't compare Chris Brown and Usher personally.
okay. Okay.
But yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out Usher's Tiny Desk, please check it out. Okay, it was bomb. So yeah.
Boom. In the recent weeks, I can't remember how many, but in the recent weeks, surfing on Instagram as I do, came across a post of a young woman trying to expose one of her baby daddies for buying McDonald's for his child when she has more children that are not his children and leaving them out. And she was trying to expose him, like, look, what kind of baby daddy is this? He's buying McDonald's for his child, but not buying for the rest of the kids. And then it sparked this, not big debate, but it has sparked some debate as to who's actually in the wrong. Is she in the wrong for assuming that her baby daddy of one child should be buying stuff for all of her children, or is he in the wrong for only caring for his child with this lady? So I'm gonna open that up to you, Miss Dammy to the Zane. My home slice mixed with rice. Let me roll the dice.
I don't think he did anything wrong personally. Sorry, I have to say. Come at me if you want
Damn.
to. Come at me if you want to. Come at me if you want to. I don't think he did anything wrong. He is not obligated to provide for your other children. If, like, okay, he's just baby daddy. It's not like he's her man. And even if he's her man, even then, like, he can do it out of the goodness of his heart if he's that type of guy. But if he doesn't do it, it's not like you're a bad person for not doing it, if that makes sense. But
But don't you think it's a little bit?
this is baby daddy, yeah. He's baby daddy to one of your however many kids, right? He's not obligated to buy your other kids anything. He only needs to provide for his
Yeah, of
own kid.
course.
Yeah, so it's an open and shut case. I don't even know what the debate is about personally.
Open and shut. So here's the other perspective, because it's definitely mad. The other perspective is one. It's definitely a little bit weird. I'm not saying that he should be obligated to buy anybody but his child anything. But what I'm saying is, in the environment that that child is living, it's creating problems. And as a father, as a parent, as a whatever, you don't want to create problems for your child. Like, if anything, when a lady has children by more than one man, usually the children see each other without boundaries. They just see each other as brothers and sisters. That's that.
Yeah, for sure.
However, that type of action will start to create divisions whereby people are now viewing each other differently. Oh, you're so and so's son. We're so and so's son. So your dad moves like, you know what I mean? It's creating
Yeah,
an environment that's not necessarily going to
but
have a
it takes
positive.
two people. It takes two. There's two parents in this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I mean, unless she can't afford the McDonald's for the other kids, then that's different. But if she,
Yeah, but he showed up with McDonald's.
okay, then I'd be like, cool. Other kids, don't worry, you'll get your McDonald's, and they'll get their McDonald's. There's Just Eat. There's Deliveroo. I can go to a drive-through. I'll pick up other kids' McDonald's. The kids won't care whether it came from that guy or mummy. They got their McDonald's. They won't care.
So you're happy so if you had unfortunate circumstance, but if you happen to have children by more than one man, and yeah, and one of them was like, oh, let me swing by, see my son/daughter real quick, and then he just showed up with McDonald's, even though
Yeah.
you've cooked you've cooked up some good stew
Even though there's
and
rice
that.
at home. Even though there's rice at home. Yeah, I
Even though
know.
there's rice at home and
Yeah.
meat ready,
Yeah.
and then your child gets excited, they got the Happy Meal with the toy,
Yeah.
and then the other kids are now seeing your other
I'll be
child
like, you
with.
know what? Do you know what, kids? There's rice. I can heat that up tomorrow. Let me go and get my other kids their McDonald's. I'm their
Mad.
mother.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. And that man is not their dad. So he doesn't have to
Yeah,
buy
but
them anything. If I'm that concerned about the other children and how
mhm,
they feel in that situation, the fact that they're having to eat rice and stew, meanwhile their bro is there munching on a McDonald's hamburger and playing with a toy. If I'm that concerned, then
mm,
I will buy the other kids their McDonald's.
hey,
Buy them all a Happy Meal. Boom, everybody's happy. You've all got McDonald's. Now all of you have got McDonald's. But to be
so,
upset that my baby daddy, who's not the father of those kids, not buying them McDonald's so that they all feel equal. That's none of his business. He has no prerogative to do that. It's not his. They're not his financial responsibility. They're mine.
oh, yeah, I agree.
So yeah, it is a bit unfortunate for the other kids. It might cause division, but then it's down to the mother to step in and kind of cover that. Like, I don't want my son to be set apart from the rest of them because he had McDonald's, or I don't want the others to feel left out because they don't have the McDonald's. So how about, as the
Mm-hmm.
mother, I go, you know what? I'm just gonna buy all of the rest of you lot McDonald's. So now all of you have got McDonald's. They're not gonna care who it came from. They're just gonna be happy that they had their McDonald's. They weren't the only ones that couldn't have a Happy Meal.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm
So
saying?
then here, I hear you, but the my issue is it only works because it works, but it doesn't work immediately. If you said, yeah, cool, all right, no worries, we'll have the food tomorrow, boom, bang,
Yeah.
brie. Then tomorrow, my man does the same thing.
Then I'd do the same thing the next day. It's not.
Yeah,
It's.
but then,
I
so
just
then
feel
what's
like.
happening to? It's just causing disruption in your household.
So what then? So then what? Do I tell him not to buy his son McDonald's?
No, but it's like,
Because I'm not going to tell him to buy McDonald's for the others, because
I
that's not
hear
his
that.
obligation. So
I
then
hear
what?
that.
So the only other option then would be, do you know what? Can you not bring takeout for our kids every day,
I
once a
mean,
week?
my
Or can you let me know when you're gonna?
compromise.
Can you let me know when you're
Yeah,
gonna do it, and then I can make sure the
exactly.
others are patterned. Simple.
Yeah,
But it's
but I
not
would,
down to him.
to be fair, I would even say, can you let me know when you're planning to drop my McDonald's? Get the other two thing, and I'll bust you the change, like just so.
We could do that too.
But that's what because
That's another
otherwise, I
option.
think it's weird.
I'm
I
open
just
to
think
that.
it's weird. Yeah,
I'm
but the way
open
it
to that.
happened, I'm like, that is weird. I'm not saying he's wrong, but it's
I feel
weird though.
like again, the conversation everyone's having is around the man. They're not
Mm,
really talking about the woman, and no shade to the woman, but like I've said, sorry to repeat myself, but those are my children. The
mm.
ones that he hasn't had with me, they're mine. They've got
Yeah,
nothing to do
there
with
you.
him.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if I'm trying to create equality amongst the kids and I don't want anyone to feel left out and, whatever, then the conversation you've suggested is one I could have. Or I could be like, okay, if he shows up randomly one day, because maybe the communication's poor from him, could be the reason
Yeah,
why he's my
yeah.
baby daddy and not my man in the first place. Communication's just not there, right? Oh, turns up to my house with the food. I'll just be like, you know what? The food I made, cool. I'll just get them their own. It shouldn't be a conversation of, is he bad mind for not getting my other children the food? The
Mm.
the question should be, what should the mother have done? What could the mother have done differently? And I know I'm
Mm-hmm,
gonna get
mm-hmm,
bashed for this because women don't like to hear it when other women tell them to take accountability. And on this one, I do not care. They're your
mm.
children. They've got nothing to do with him.
100%.
It is a bit strange. It might make the children feel some type of way, but he's my baby daddy. He's not my man. If it was my man and I've got one kid with him and I have had kids with previous people, yeah, but he's my man,
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
might be slightly different. That might be like, what are you trying to do, babes? Because you took me and the kids. I had the kids when we got together. You knew that I had
Mm-hmm.
these children. Yeah, like, fair enough, I've had kids with you, but when you accepted me, you had to accept me with my kids. So now you are taking the role of stepdaddy. Yeah. You're not baby daddy, you're
Mm.
stepdaddy. Yeah. If you're gonna buy your own kids something, I expect you to buy the other kids something. But this is baby daddy. This is someone who's, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get the
Yeah,
debate. personally, I just feel like it's a dumb debate in my opinion. Sorry, it's silly. It's a no-brainer. If he's not gonna do it, mum, do it. You're the mum. Those kids are actually related to you. They got nothing to do with him. Sorry.
No, I
Harsh,
definitely
but
agree with that part. No,
harsh
I
realities,
agree
but
with
it
that
is what
part.
it is. But it is what it is. Like, why is it about him?
I'd say as a man, he's doing himself a disservice. Like however he's trying to represent himself. As a man, he's doing himself a disservice. As a father, he's poorly representing himself to his own child.
Yeah.
Because when they become old enough to judge and to have morals and moral understanding, they will see, oh, my father is actually a waste man, because
Yeah,
that's
and do you know
simply
what?
not
I
nice.
agree. Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I said that, like, he doesn't have an obligation to, they're not his financial responsibility.
Mm.
It doesn't mean he's a nice guy. I think that's one of the first things I said. Like, if he did buy those kids the McDonald's, it would make him a nice guy.
Mm.
But in terms of obligation and responsibility, he doesn't have to do anything. And if we're concerned about the kids and how the kids are going to feel, that's where the mum needs to put her mummy hat on and be like, I want my kids to be okay. I want to cover it. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, I need to step in when, yeah. So be a mum and step in, period. Next, hot topic. just, Robert Kelly, R.Kelly. Finally, man's going to jail. I mean, he was already in jail, but he going to jail. He going to jail. Okay? Sentenced to 30 years. I don't know if he's actually going to do the 30 years, but he's been sentenced to 30 years. Apparently, he's been put in the suicide unit. His lawyers arguing that he's not suicidal. I'm smiling because I know some people, this topic, yeah, is so, some people are very like, on one side, some people are on the other side. I'm firmly on the side of, he's a monster. He deserves to go to jail. He deserves to rot in jail. Okay? He deserves to rot in jail. I don't listen to his music. I cannot co-sign. I saw a tweet recently where someone was like, don't look at the credits of the music that you're listening to, because you might actually find Robert Kelly's name is there as a producer or
You'll find
whatever.
him in a lot, boy.
And I'm like,
he's done a lot.
I'm not there yet. That's gonna be the next level where I start looking at. But then I'm thinking, am I willing to drop other artists for R. Kelly? I don't know. I've already let go of remixes that he's on. I've already let go of all his music. And best believe, guys, I was a huge R. Kelly fan. Yeah. All his slow jams and that. I know all the runs, riffs, every place where he took a breath in between lines. I knew everything. Yeah. Like, listen, his music,
12 play.
phenomenal, right? But it's a sacrifice I have to make for the injustices that he has committed. I will not be co-signing or supporting that man in any shape or form. So yeah, I'm smiling as I say, man's been sentenced. Yes. And yeah, it's good news. It's good news in my books. It's good news.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's a great verdict for everybody that's been,
for the victims,
you know, troubled by this man. And I don't know if that's a lot of time for that type of crime, or if it's a little or whatnot, but he's like 55 now, so he'd be 85 when he comes out. So if he made it out and if he did the full sentence.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the only way I can really view it is from the perspective of the victims, because I've not really fully come to grips with the whole thing, and it's just upsetting that I can't listen to this music anymore, because it was amazing. It marks chapters of my life, as it did a lot of people. A lot of people got married to R. Kelly.
I
A lot of people,
know.
you know what I mean? There's all sorts of memories that are dragged into this situation. And yeah, man, it's just, for me, it's just super confusing. And like there was a big gray area stage where like where I think where the trial or the documentary had first started, and as a DJ, I'd always have these tracks ready. When I used to do the weddings back in the day, it always used to get requested, and then it got to the point where it was like, so do I play the R. Kelly track? And then it's gone from do I to of course I don't. And it's just, It's mad. Yeah, it's
It
a
is.
mad
I
one.
think in the beginning, I mean, with Robert Kelly, it's been like a thing, kind of like Tim Westwood. Everyone's
Mm.
known, kind of. There's been speculation about it. Not that I can't say that we knew, but there's been speculation and people make jokes about it. And but when I watched the documentary, and then when things started to unfold after that, and I was like, we can't ignore it anymore.
Documentaries a lot.
I think a lot of people ignored everything because of how much talent this man has, and
Yeah.
because of his influence in the R&B culture. And yeah, even for me, like I said, like I grew up on R. Kelly's music. My parents loved R. Kelly, like loved his music. They still love his music. We have multiple conversations about this.
Yeah.
Because they're not willing to not stop listening to him, because when they were in their 20s, late 20s, 30s,
Mm.
they were listening to R. Kelly, right? So they grew up with R. Kelly. They're around R. Kelly's age. So for them, it's like, I guess
Yeah,
what Chris
like
Brown
nah.
is to some people
Mm-hmm.
is what R. Kelly is to them, right? So I grew up on R. Kelly. I know I have all the albums. I had all my playlists on Spotify, I had R. Kelly on it. I had everything. Like I loved his I do love his music. His music's fantastic. But as a woman, I just can't, when I deep what he has done, or
Mm.
when I deep the allegations, and when I saw the
It's not even allegation
documentary,
now. It's you
I
have to
mean
say it's
now
what
it's
he did.
been I
Yeah,
mean now he's been sentenced, so we can firmly
it's
say that
what
he
he
did
did.
it. It is
Yeah.
what it is, right? I cannot, as a woman, get behind him, and the gravity of what he has done. It's not like a one time thing or one time incident. Like, for example, Chris Brown, well, I guess people can argue he has assaulted more than one woman, but if we go back to the original issue, which was with Rihanna,
Mhm.
it was like a one time thing. And since then, it's been alleged, but it's not been confirmed that he's done anything since then, really. But with Rihanna, it was. And it's not, doesn't mean that it's dismissible for Chris Brown, because it's absolutely not. Like any form of abuse towards women is absolutely a no for me.
Mhm.
But the severity of Robert Kelly's is slightly different for me. It's almost like he thought he could get away with it for a very long time. It was because he's not just been done for the abuse, he's also been done for trafficking. So
Mhm.
it's the scale is a different level. Do you know what I mean? It's not, this is not one time small, like one time potentially could be argued as a mistake, maybe a fluke of
Mhm.
character. This is who he is. He's a monster. That's how I see it. And when I deep the severity of it being that it's young girls,
Mm.
I just can't. I just can't.
Yeah.
I'm listening to some of the lyrics, even some of the features,
It
like
makes
when
the
he done,
lyrics sound
it
different.
just makes the lyrics sound booky. I bet you haven't heard that word in a long time.
I haven't.
Um,
I say it, but I haven't heard it. Yeah.
yeah, it just makes the lyrics sound a bit where we're a bit side eye. You know, things like "Age ain't nothing but a number." Like it's like
But even 12 Play, that's what I was saying. Like that's one of my favorite albums. But then you're like, well, what does that mean?
my mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. Like you hear the lyrics and you're like, how do you not cringe? You know,
Because
so I think
yeah.
when the story first came out, absolutely, I was like, I mean, for a very long time, I was like, we kind of we're kind of presuming, but I don't want to believe it because I love the music. When the documentary
Mm.
came out, there was no like you
There was
can't
no denying it, man.
you can't turn a blind eye. You just got to be like, yeah, it is what it is. Sorry, cancelled,
Mm.
cancelled, and it's painful because even as I'm talking about it now, I'm thinking about the music and stuff, and it's like, man, it's so upsetting, man. Why did you have to do this, Robert? Why did you have to do this? Why? I'm thinking happy people. I'm thinking I believe I
Yeah,
can
exactly.
fly. I'm thinking
And the
like,
dances that went with it
oh
as well.
my god, even feeling on your
Happy People
booty,
with the
feeling on
steppers.
your booty. Come on, Oh God.
The way I was about 16 years old, 15 years old, feeling on some girl's booty as well. That was my call to action. I said, okay, hands went round, squeeze. She allowed it. I'm like,
Ah,
okay, man might be in there, you
I
know.
am pained. I'm deeply pained because I love. Listen, man. But it is what it is. I
Yeah, it
wonder, does
really
he
is.
make? Does he still make money from those songs?
Yeah, the royalties will still go to whatever, like whoever he signed with, if you know what I mean. But I feel like they froze. I feel like something was frozen at some point in time to do with R. Kelly. But yeah, the money will still go that way. But then no one plays his stuff anymore. Like no platforms play his things.
Oh, sorry.
So unless people specifically went to his Spotify to play his, because I think they even made a feature. I think they either removed them from all the playlists or they made a feature that if you didn't want to see certain artists on your Spotify playlist, you type it in and then it just removes them like sort of
The thing
invisibly.
is, yeah, I just don't want him to make money from this music, right? I guess maybe I could still listen to it if I knew that he wasn't gonna make any form of any like peas off of it. Um, but then if I listen to the lyrics and deep the lyrics a bit too much, it will just freak me out.
It's just gonna
It's just
be
gonna cringe me out. So it's a
that's what
shame,
I mean.
man,
It's
but he deserves it.
mad.
It's a monster. Absolute monster.
Yeah, it's
So
a
yeah,
damn shame.
yeah. My sister, because when the verdict came out and I put it on my stories on Instagram, my sister messaged me. She goes, I was waiting for you to say something about this. She
Yeah.
knows how passionate I am about this thing. It's just the fact that they were young girls and he was grooming them.
Mm.
And I get it, like the parents had something to do with it because
Oh, there was a lot of failure, man. There was a
there was
lot
a
of
lot of
failure.
failure. Those kids were failed by more people than just R. Kelly. You know,
Mm.
like the security, his entourage, those guys that were going to
Well, a lot
follow
of those
him.
people just allowed it. If you not
Yeah, that's
allowed
what I'm
it, but like
saying.
you
That's
know
what
what I
I'm
mean. They
saying.
just they
They
just
knew
turned a
they turned a
blind eye.
blind eye. They turned a blind eye. Like all his entourage, everyone that he worked with, the parents that allowed their children to go on like trips with R. Kelly and stuff without
Mm.
um someone to
Supervision and
chaperone and stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Um yeah, all of that.
But he was
Um
charged by himself, wasn't he? He found
he
guilty by himself,
was.
etc.
I
So they're
wonder,
like,
I
yeah,
do
that's what I'm
feel
thinking. What's the next part? Because there's obviously
yeah.
bare other people that were around, and how accountable are they?
They are not equally accountable, but they are accountable for something, for
Hmm.
sure. For sure. Because just taking my mind back to the documentary, people were speaking now. And it's like, why are you talking now? You saw what you
Mm.
saw then. You didn't say anything then. So you're complicit. You enabled him. But yeah, other people were complicit. I'm not taking away from that. I'm not disagreeing with that. But he was the main culprit. I just hope that I just wonder what's gonna happen with the rest of them. He did say he made threats apparently a while ago that he's gonna name names. He's gonna
I mean, he has to though,
snitch on some
because
people. I want him to snitch. I
no,
want him to
100%. And the
snitch.
reason why, because I know, like, yeah, he was the one doing X, Y, and Z, but at the same time, this only happened for so long to so many, etc., because so many people turned a blind eye. And
Yeah.
ultimately, that just affected young women in my community. And I'm like, it shouldn't be able to happen again. But unless you reprimand everybody who turned a blind eye, it can.
We'll see what happens next. But I mean, I'm I was victorious when I found out. I was happy. I was like, yeah, good, good. It's
Just
about time.
elated.
Yeah, I was so happy. Pride Month was June in the UK for us this year. And so we also recently had the Pride what's it called? Parade
Mm-hmm.
through London. So we thought it would be the right time to discuss this topic. We are going to approach it respectfully. Obviously, I mean,
I
I
mean,
can't speak for Venom because man's gonna get cancelled. But as for me, but the question I'd like us to unpick today is whether or not the LGBTQ community have been accepted by our community.
hmm.
Um, over to you.
Okay. LGBTQ plus. Have they been accepted by our community? I would say yes and definitely no. Reason
On the
being,
fence.
no, the reason being is that so LGBTQ plus, man, it doesn't roll off the tongue when you add the extra letters. It really doesn't. But that is a is separate things grouped together. And so you know back in the day, the gay flag or the LGBT flag was
Mm.
just a rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they added the extra letters, then they added the triangle bit with the extra colors.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So I was walking through Liverpool Street Station
Mm.
just the other day, and they had up a display for Pride, and I then realized, you know what? They've added the extra triangle with the extra colors to represent the other people,
Yeah.
but I couldn't tell you which color is representing which person anyway. If you see what I mean. So because they're representing extra people,
Mm.
but I would have thought that the rainbow would have still been fine as it was.
Mm.
Because I didn't know, let's say red is gay, yellow is bi, green. Do you see
Mm.
what I mean? So but I say all this to say anyway, that I think there's things that our community have accepted and things that our community haven't accepted because they're all different.
Mm-hmm.
I think that bisexuals would always be accepted because you can just identify with the part of them that you accept, which is the straight part.
To an extent.
Lesbians always accepted generally because there's no there's no penetration, so I guess mentally it's a lot less offensive. Gay people, I think, have been accepted, but in a very
In our community.
in a subjective way. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we can stop. We can stop at gay. We can
Stop
stop at
there.
gay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I wasn't gonna break it down like that. I was talking more generally, but if
I think yeah,
you want
but
to break it
I
down, you
think
want to
that's
take it there. All
yeah. I
right.
think it has to be
All
broken
right.
down
Cool. So
because
let's start with the. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to the my. Let's go back to the ones you've already spoken about. So
mm-hmm,
I think that the LGBTQ community has, in its entirety, has been accepted more for women than it has been for men. Period.
mm-hmm,
So if you
yeah,
are a bisexual woman, that's fine. If you are a lesbian, that's fine. And all the other parts of the community, it's considered as okay. I think the men,
mm-hmm,
there's a long way to go. So I think a bisexual man has still not been accepted as much as a bisexual woman. A gay man has not been accepted as much as a lesbian woman, as much as a lesbian woman.
mm-hmm,
Same thing with transgender and like I said, the rest of the community. And I think it's because of the challenge um towards masculinity and the perceptions people have around the LGBTQ community and whether that is deemed as masculine or feminine.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm,
so yeah, I think that there's been strides in movement towards accepting and being fully open
mm-hmm.
to that community. But I think that within our community, we still have a long way to go for the men within that community. I still think that they are not fully accepted as they could be. For example, not too long ago there was a conversation on Twitter. Is it an episode if I don't mention Twitter? I just have to say.
Oh yeah, this is your first mention though.
I know, right? I'm getting better. About whether a straight woman, a heterosexual woman, would date a bisexual man.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. I do recall
it
this.
was a debate.
Mm-hmm.
And the general consensus was quite a lot of heterosexual women were not comfortable with dating a
Mm-hmm.
bisexual man. Now you need to ask yourself, why is that? Because he's still attracted to you. So what's the problem? I actually
Yeah,
think
but
I think that it's because of the question around his masculinity that causes the problem. For example, yeah, um, growing up, and even till today, I still see it a lot. When a woman wants to attack a man, she normally goes for his masculinity.
oh
She'll
yeah,
normally say things like, "Oh, I reckon he was gay anyway," or she uses that as her insult
her
to
angle.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is rooted in homophobia,
Mm.
and I don't think a lot of women realize that they're doing that. Um, and so if you ask yourself as a straight woman, why wouldn't you date a bisexual man? If you was to really dig deep, it's probably rooted in the same sort of homophobia that roots the insult of ah, that guy, he must be gay. Look at how he dresses, he's acting like a girl.
Mm-hmm,
Do you know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? That kind of thing. Or he wasn't
Yeah,
really into
yeah.
me. I reckon he was gay and he doesn't know. Those sorts of things that women say, it's rooted in homophobia. That's why I'm saying that I feel like men accept a man is more likely to be okay with a woman being bisexual, for example, than a woman being
Mm-hmm.
okay for a man to be bisexual. And that's just one element. That's just a snapshot of what I'm trying to illustrate. That's a small illustration of what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah.
In that, I think that when women are fluid in their sexuality, it's accepted. When men are, it's not.
I agree, but I think that also leans heavily towards our community's exposure to that community. And I say that because I think when I was in school slash secondary school, maybe even college, I used to have like a very one-sided understanding of what it meant to be gay and what gay people were like. I didn't really focus on nobody really focused on transsexuals when I was in school or college. Everybody knew what it was, but it wasn't the same as it is now.
Mm,
But but I think gay men was far more something that an idea that we were trying to understand and tackle as a society. And then you'd be like, oh my god, you're so gay. Everything that you associated with gay was negative.
mm,
But also it was feminine. But I would say as I've grown up and had much more exposure to that community,
mm,
it's actually as mixed as men and women are, as in terms of there's feminine gays and there's masculine gays. There's gays that are literally straight presenting and they
mm,
just are gay.
mm,
And I think when people, I guess, maybe think about bisexuals and think about men being attracted to men, they automatically also think about men being feminine and not being masculine, which is even a big um, conflict within the gay community of how they present, whether they present, feminine or masculine. That's like an internal thing as well. So I think that plays a massive part because I think men who present as masculine, whether
mm,
they're gay or not, actually get much more of a bly than men who present as feminine, whether they're gay or not.
mm. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I just feel like the root cause of that is what I'm thinking about here. So I'm really
Hmm.
peeling the onion essentially and going back to the root cause of why is femininity and masculinity an issue? And I think it's because men, especially heterosexual men, they worry a lot about appearing feminine.
Mm.
And I just wonder, when you really think of the root cause of that, it's rooted, it reeks of homophobia, sorry. Yeah, it reeks of homophobia.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to appear gay. That's why you hear, like, when you listen to like podcasts, male dominated podcasts, or just listen to men talking sometimes in general within the community, and they might say something that might be read, could potentially be read as homosexual, and you start hearing
Yeah,
pause,
yeah, yeah.
pause,
Mm, mm, mm,
pause,
mm.
because they're just so worried to come across that way. And it's like, it shouldn't matter. You shouldn't. Why do you care so much? Why are you so worried about appearing uh homosexual? Is it because you're homophobic? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't think not wanting to appear homosexual equates to homophobia,
No, not.
or rather, not wanting to. Yeah, yeah. Like, that's the other thing that I also don't like, is because it really does make it a binary thing, and then it creates a problem.
Mm,
Is that a lot of time people are quick to call other people homophobic if they simply don't agree or don't like things to do with homosexuality. If they have
mm,
an opinion that is not in support of homosexuality. And it's
mm.
not an oppressive opinion. It's not like they're trying to stop their rights, or, you know what I mean? It's nothing like that. They're just like, nah, I'm not on it, kind of thing. And I think that in order to allow everyone to really accept the LGBTQ plus community into, or rather for our community to accept them fully, you also have to allow people to not accept them. Just like anything else that people don't like. If you know what I mean? If you're forcing people to accept things, it's never going to happen.
No, the reason why I disagree with you with this, in with that statement isolated, yeah,
Hmm.
about,
Hmm.
people being allowed not to accept, is because people do not have an opinion about being heterosexual. People do. I doubt there's anyone out there that doesn't accept heterosexuality, because it's deemed as the norm, right? So it's seen as,
What do you
okay.
mean,
It's
people who don't accept? What do you mean by don't
so
accept?
you're
What does
saying
that what does that mean?
you're
Yeah.
saying, yeah, in order for homosexuality or the LGBTQ community to be accepted, there's got to be people out there that don't accept it, right?
Yeah, no, they have to be allowed to not accept
Allowed
if
to not
they
accept.
so choose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's slightly different then, because I guess people are also allowed not to accept heterosexuality, but people
Hmm.
genuinely do. Like, it's so rare for
Yeah.
you to hear that they don't. I just think that what the LGBTQ plus community are fighting for is the equality, that to be deemed as equal as a heterosexual person,
Hmm.
because they still feel the same feelings that we're feeling. I say
Hmm.
we because we're both heterosexual. Um, that we're feeling. It's just that they don't have feelings for the opposite sex. They have feelings for the same sex as them, or that's just homosexuals. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they're
Hmm.
more
Hmm.
fluid with their sexuality. It's not just straight and narrow, like straight. I mean,
Yeah, but that's
I didn't mean
again,
the
this is
pun.
the
It just
issue.
happened.
This is the
But
issue.
the thing is, we should just accept that we should actually just accept that sexuality is fluid, identity is fluid, and just accept that. That I
No,
thought,
but it's nonsensical though. At the same
come,
time, at this,
nonsensical.
yeah, to just accept
Just
that the
accept
notion
it.
of just accepting is nonsensical. You can't just accept. You need to understand, and some people simply will not understand certain things, and they need to be allowed to also not understand. Like, you can't
Yeah,
just
but you
accept.
cannot. You can not understand. Fine, but you should
Hmm.
accept that it exists. And if you don't understand, go and seek to understand.
Yeah, but
I
people
don't
accept
think
that it
it's good enough
exists.
for people to be like, I don't understand, period. I'm not gonna move. That doesn't give room for growth, and doesn't give room for intellect, actually. Sorry if I
Yeah,
insult
but people
someone,
accept
but I'm
that.
not
People
sorry.
who reject it
You can
understand, accept that it exists, and they actually actively reject it.
I just feel like, as a heterosexual woman, my sexuality is not even spoken about. because it's not a topic of conversation. It's deemed as the norm. No one really cares. It's like, cool. They even expect it to be that way. And it's
Mm-hmm.
accepted.
Mm-hmm.
It's not rejected. I feel like the
Mm-hmm.
LGBTQ plus community deserve the same thing. Period. Whether you understand it or not. Okay. Woo, what I'm about to say. Disclaimer. They are not the same. I'm just trying to use this analogy for illustration purposes because I know
Mm-hmm.
someone's going to come for me with this.
I'm listening. I'm all ears, boy.
White supremacy over the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the whole reason why there was slavery in the first place was because white people thought they were the best, they were the norm, they were superior. And anything that didn't look like them, walk like them, talk like them, behave like them was inferior. Okay. Disclaimer, it's not the same. It's not the same. But heterosexuality is considered as the norm. And for a very long time, if it didn't look like it, smell like it, talk like it, it's inferior. And what I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
is sexuality, period, should be on the same level playing field, similar to how white people and black people should be considered the same. It's not the same,
Wait, should be
but it's the
considered the
way
same
that
or considered on the same level?
I'm not saying
Because
it's the
white people
same
and black
level.
people are not
I'm
the
not saying
same.
it's not. I'm not saying it's the same level. It's not the same level because
No,
there's
no, no. I'm saying in your analogy, you
the
said white
the
people and black people should be considered the same
what I'm
or
saying
on the
is
same level.
what I'm saying is
I'm just
what I'm
clarifying.
saying is that the principle is the same in that no one is above anyone, no one is superior to anyone, no one is inferior to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Everyone deserves same level of respect, the same level of
Yeah.
tolerance, the same level of treatment as each other. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why I used it because it's the only other extreme
I
situation that
get
I
you.
can
No, no,
use.
I get you entirely.
But I'm not saying it's the same because like that even that topic itself is a touchy subject when people bring
Yeah.
race into this argument because it's like
Because it's the only way to
but
even
it's the
try and
only
liken
way
it to
to illustrate it for people to understand the gravity of what's happening when we do not
yeah.
accept um other sexualities or sexual identities outside of the heterosexual one, outside of
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
cis male female and all that. I mean, okay, as a woman, yeah, just quickly going into like transgender.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As a woman, I saw recently that I don't know the details. I'm not going to pretend to know the details, but there was some sort of like women's group where they discuss being a victim of some sort of traumatic something. Again, I could get the information. I've got it, but I don't want to go into too much detail. And a woman sued the charity for allowing a transgender woman to attend because she was
Mm-hmm.
saying that the transgender woman cannot be a victim of that sort of abuse simply because biologically they are not a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw that, a lot of comments that I was seeing, both on Instagram, TikTok, and other and Twitter, was just because they are not biologically a woman doesn't mean that they couldn't have been a victim of said abuse. They can actually be a victim of this sort of abuse, right? So it doesn't really matter. The reason why I bring it up is because as a cis female, and even having to declare that I'm a cis female sometimes can be a bit annoying because it's like I'm just a woman. Do
Mm-hmm.
you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But I acknowledge that the world that we live in today, we do have to put those labels on it. And whether I agree with it or not or find it annoying, it just is what it is. And I just need to move with the times. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the rest of the world kind of needs to do that. Yeah. Because as much as I'm allowed to say that I'm a woman, if that person identifies as a woman, they're allowed to say that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, but this then comes
So
back to the part where you said just accept. And again, I also still don't agree. I am the kind of person that would respect someone in their choices to be certain things, but at the same time, me respecting them doesn't change my logic. And my logic says, okay, so if a man feels like a woman to the point that he feels like he needs to change his gender to then become a woman, how does he know that he feels like a woman? Only a woman could know what it feels like to be a woman. So then how could he know that the feeling that he's experiencing is the feeling that of a woman? And then to become a woman, again, only a woman could know. So you're then turning, I guess, and then when you strip away the scientific fact of this is what it means to be a woman, this is what it means to be a man, then you reduce the idea, because women are the only special ones. Men are not special. Women are special because they possess certain other physiological,
Yes,
biological
yeah. We
element.
can
Anyway,
we can
but
harvest a child.
yeah,
Yeah.
but outside of that, if you then remove these facts, then it just becomes about feelings, and then being a woman just is just a feeling. So that's actually a reductionist argument. And I'm not saying that men cannot transition to become women and be called women in a society. What I'm saying is people who don't agree based on the facts of science should be able to not agree and also not be viewed as oppressive to these people who feel otherwise, because everyone wants equality.
There's a way in which this can be done. If you was to look at it scientifically, yes, biologically,
Mm-hmm.
a transgender man or woman is not that gender, or no, not that sex, because that's not
Yeah.
what they
Mm-hmm.
were born as. Cool, fine, scientifically, logically speaking, correct. But my issue is the way in which heterosexual cis, input the gender or sex there, think or behave in this area, in this arena.
Mm-hmm.
I know that a transgender woman is not the same as me. They don't have ovaries, they don't have a womb,
Mm-hmm.
right? I know that. So that's what we've been taught, that's what we know it to be. However, I can still treat them with respect and not be phobic. It's the phobic bit that I've got
But
problems
what?
with.
Okay, but what makes it phobic?
Look up the definition of
No, okay, no,
phobia.
yeah, but this is all right. So this is my point is that if someone decides,
Which
okay,
I'm doing, by the way.
no, I don't want to call this person a woman, I don't accept it,
Yeah.
or I don't want to call this person a man, I don't accept it. Is that phobia?
So, phobic means a noun. It's a noun. A
Mm-hmm.
person with an extreme or irrational fear of or aversion to something. Aversion to something. And as an
Mm-hmm.
adjective, it's having or involving an extreme or irrational fear of or aversion to something. So, I guess not agreeing with the thing,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is not necessarily being phobic of it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, I feel like we've over broken it down, because I'm not talking about people who just logically speaking, they're like, no, that doesn't make sense to me. Or logically
Mm-hmm.
speaking, no,
Mm-hmm.
scientifically, that's not right. Scientifically, it's someone that's had a change or it's whatever. This is why I didn't want to break it down, because it's such a complex conversation.
It is
I
complex.
just wanted to keep it general, but here goes my co-host talking about trying to dissect the LGBTQ, literally dissect it like,
Yeah, letter by
who
letter.
asked you to do that? We didn't want to do that, okay? Because this will be a podcast that would last for days. Like, we'd be talking for hours. I just wanted to talk about it in general. We can dissect another
It's
time.
okay.
We can pick a different letter and go through it another time. But just going back, just taking it back a few steps and taking it back to the general, yeah, I do think that we have moved forward within our community in terms of accepting the LGBTQ plus community. However, I still think that there's a longer stride for us to accept
Mm-hmm.
the community. And I think that it's heavily because of the whole play between femininity and masculinity, And I think it's worse for men, not even just in the Black community, across communities. It's like it's always been okay for women to have more fluidity in their sexual preferences. For the longest time on porn, lesbian action has been like hailed. It's like a thing. Like I've even had guys ask me because they like, oh, would you do things with a girl? Would you let a guy watch? Like, because it's like a thing, like guys love it. They find it sexy, which is why it's been accepted. Whereas like anything to do with man on man action or men being fluid, it's just not okay. And it's been accepted, but there's still a little bit of within the heterosexual male community of, oh, I need to prove that I'm not part of that community, or oh, because I know this guy is fluid, I don't know, is man on to me. Do you see what I'm saying? There's even
Yeah,
been an
that's people with
episode,
low exposure.
but there's
Yeah.
been an episode in the past where we were talking about this in passing, and I was saying
Yeah.
how no, you was, I can't remember what I said anymore, but you were saying that men can do silly things in front of their friends, like they can show their boy,
Yeah.
they can show their boy their willies, yeah, but the moment they find out their boy is gay, it's like, nah, I can't do that because man's gonna be on me. And it's like, you might not even be his type. Do you see what I'm saying? But the moment
Yeah,
you know
totally.
that he's into men, it's like, oh, pause. Everything's pause. Now, man, it's not about that life. Why? It's because deep down there's a fear. It's fear.
No, 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 no. It's not even actually, because it's almost for the same reason that I wouldn't do that with my female friends. Doesn't mean that she's onto me,
Okay.
but that action means something different if I do that to you, whereas if I do that to my man, who knows I'm literally just being a dickhead, bro. It's just bants.
But I'm just saying that in general, how many times I have to tell my co-host general? In general, I feel like it is an issue. It is an
It
issue.
is, it is. But
And I
people
think
need
it's
us.
rooted in
There
that
needs to be a
fear.
safe space for people to not agree. If you have that safe space, more people will agree. But right now, it feels like it's by force. I don't blame people because it's like it's by force. Either you agree or you're homophobic. There's no in between. What? Either I agree or I'm oppressing them. What? How the hell did I wind up in a place where I have no opinion? I just must agree or I'm the devil. And not even the devil, because my religion says that they're the devil. So what are you doing?
What religion? You don't have a religion.
No, I'm not saying mine. I'm giving the perspective of people. I'm trying to say that in most religions, they condemn homosexuality. They condemn da 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 da
In
da.
most religions, any sexual activities outside of the heterosexual
Outside of married heterosexual sex is a
is
sin.
sin.
So now you're asking those people, not only they must accept them, even though
Yeah,
it's
I'm
against
a
their faith.
Christian and I
Yeah,
accept
but
them.
I hear you. But other Christians will say, you're going against your faith.
No, I'm not. Because
Other Christians will say
no,
that.
they can say what they want to, but like I say, and I've said time and time again, go and watch the previous episodes. Yeah, don't let me go into my preaching bag because I'll go into it. Yeah, if you are having sex premarital, you are sinning, my friend. If you are cheating, you are sinning, my friend. In fact, some people even go so far as to say there are certain sexual acts that you shouldn't even do between you and your wife because it's taboo. I ain't gonna listen, but there's certain things. If you're doing them, you're sinning, my friend. So who are you to judge? Who are you to judge? Who are you
Of
to
course, of
judge?
course.
Who are you
But
to judge? And none of them is
this is
above
what I
another
say.
one. That's the problem. Taking me back to this whole idea that there's a superiority because we are what is for ages been deemed as normal, acceptable. Anything outside of that box is inferior. And therefore we have a right to accepting or not accepting anything. But everybody else has to accept us because we're the norm. That's the challenge I'm having here. As a heterosexual woman, I will always be accepted. There's not a discussion about whether or not my sexual orientation is logical or not, accepted or not, because it's deemed as normal. It's deemed as what everything else is measured against. I have an
Yeah.
issue with that. I do have an issue
I don't
with
even have
that.
an issue. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have an issue with that.
I have an issue with that when I'm thinking about the LGBTQ community. When I'm thinking about the fact that they don't have that same right simply because of their sexual orientation or how they see themselves. That's
Yeah.
not fair. It's not fair.
But the thing is, there has to be a 0 point. There has to be an anchor.
Why?
There has to be a basis.
There's no anchor in when you talk about humanity a lot. Yeah. In the human race, we are all the same. We are actually all the same.
I mean,
you cut me,
to a degree.
You cut me, you cut you. We bleed the same way.
You cut a cow, it bleeds too.
We go to the toilet the same way.
A cow goes to the toilet too.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't go on the toilet seat.
Because it's not educated like that. But
no, no. Don't try it. Don't try it. Humans. A cow is not a human.
Okay, but by the same analogy,
we're all human. I'm really exaggerating.
But by the same analogy,
we're all human, right? We're all human. Okay, so no one human is above another one. Period.
Of course not. But if you wanted to talk about humans and the natural state of the human or the origin state of the human, then you'd be like, okay, humans were black, and then they evolved and became other shades.
Irrespective of that, we're all human. Irrespective of where they derived from, we're all human. We should all be treated the same. Irrespective of your race, creed, how much money you earn, how you look, what your sexual orientation is, what your religion is, what you believe. We are all the same. People just like to cause divide, and they love the idea of this superiority complex. Whether it is we are lighter, so we are better. We are heterosexual, so we are the norm. We love to do that. It doesn't need to be.
I don't think that's a superiority thing, though. Being like we are heterosexual and we are the norm. That's not a superiority thing. That's more a fact than anything.
What?
The reality is,
cut the cameras, dead ass.
Straight up. The thing is,
it's not a fact. It's not a fact.
It is a fact. It is the norm. Damn it! If it wasn't the norm, then humanity wouldn't be here. Heterosexual sex is the only sex that creates life. That's not like a opinion. It's not an opinion.
We're gonna get cancelled. We're gonna get cancelled.
We're not gonna get cancelled.
We're going to get cancelled.
We're not gonna get cancelled.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was great working with you. It really was. We getting cancelled. Congratulations, you done it now. We didn't even make it to season 3. We didn't even make it to a year. We cancelled.
The season, the third
Thank
season.
You very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Saying that this is the starting point and there are other things that have come from it. That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Agreed. If we're talking naturally conceiving, heterosexual sex is the way to do that. I agree. There are other ways to get pregnant.
But naturally?
Yeah, there's other ways to get pregnant.
What other way is there to get pregnant?
Do you want me to give you a science lesson?
Legit, yeah, because I off the top of my head, I can't think of another way to get pregnant naturally.
Someone can come into something and pour that into something and...
Oh, but I said naturally. The naturally would assume there's nothing else. There's just 2 human beings.
That is 2 human beings.
Yeah, but there's nothing else being used. As in you said, come into something, pour something into something. These are... You talking about hands?
Could be.
Okay. And it's just like, again, space.
Because we're talking, you want to talk natural. There's certain acts, sexual acts definitely. That is not natural.
Yeah, but I'm not talking... Yeah, but that's the assumption that all heterosexuals engage in these acts.
I mean, in today's day and age, probably.
There's a possibility, but there's a whole heap of people who have vanilla sex.
But even what they're deeming as vanilla sex is probably still not vanilla sex. If oral is involved, it's not vanilla sex. But we're digressing.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking actual vanilla.
We're digressing heavy. We're digressing heavy, yeah. But what I'm saying to you is my issue is I don't like the fact that there is some sort of like, okay, just because of the reasons you explained, that heterosexuality is above and set apart. It's not. At the end of the day, like, love is love, attraction is attraction. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing around how people identify, what they identify as, is a totally different conversation, because you could be transgender and still be heterosexual. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
a different conversation entirely, which is why I said I wanted to keep it general, because if we start really peeling it, it would
Mm.
have to be a series. We can't talk about everything in an hour and a little bit. Do you know what I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
saying? But if we're just going to talk about homophobia, or whether, I guess the the sexuality side of LGBTQ plus community, whether that has been
Mm-hmm.
accepted, my argument still stands in that I think if a woman is sexually fluid, it's more accepted than a man. And the reason for that is because of homophobia. I think deep down inside, people are fearful of men being feminine or showing feminine traits. Or even if they're not fearful of it, they have an aversion for it, or an
Mm-hmm.
aversion of it. And for that reason, it's just like, no, it's not manly. And it goes both ways, not just men. I'm not just attacking men. I'm saying women do this as well, in the way
Mm-hmm.
that they speak to men when they want to insult them. When they want to like get at a guy, it's normally like the first thing women tend to draw for is, oh, he's gay, oh, he acts like a woman, he dresses like a woman. It's normally an attack on his masculinity. And I feel like in our community, a lot, no, no, let me not say a lot. Let me not put a quantity to it, but I do feel like within our community, it's not uncommon for men to feel like they need to protect their masculinity because of this. I feel like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there's not a lot of comfort in knowing their sexuality and being like, whether I present as feminine or not, I don't care. I'm heterosexual. That's cool. That's why I said that for you, I feel like you're slightly different, because you don't really care. You're so confident in who you are and what you are. You don't care how you are perceived, really. So
Mm-hmm.
you're fine to, you know, do whatever and talk to whoever and not feel no way
Mm-hmm.
about it, and not feel like they can rub off on you, or they can shake you or make you appear, or whatever. I don't think that is common in our community. I feel like like there are men who are so scared of appearing as something else, maybe because they're not confident in their own
Definitely.
sexuality.
Definitely.
Yeah. And again, I feel like women, as much as women like to go on like, oh yeah, like I've got gay friends or whatever, they almost hold them like an accessory, almost a fashion
Yeah.
accessory.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Deep down, there's still a long way for them to go when it comes to homophobia, because of comments like cussing men if they appear to be feminine, or the whole questioning why they couldn't date a bisexual person.
Mm-hmm.
That's my argument. I
Yeah.
didn't really
No.
want to go too deep in the
I definitely gotta go. This is Unpicked,
I
baby.
know, but
We gotta
it might
pick
have to
that
be a
apart.
series, guys. It might have to be a series, because I was really trying to. This was meant to be the entry point. I don't know what you was trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, I entered. You know.
No, you said let me go to the core. Let me start from the inside. I'm explosive. I said
Yeah,
let's
you
start
know.
outside and do flower rose tint. You said no, f that. I'ma just go for the crud. And now we're
I
gonna
think
get
when we
cancelled.
when we
Congratulations.
I think when we speak about it again, we should get someone from the community on to
Yeah,
give their
absolutely.
opinion also, because
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, I don't yeah, I think that there needs to be, see how there's many different colors in the flag. In fact, the fact that straight people are not in the flag is also what sets us apart, because realistically I feel like pride should include
No,
heterosexuals,
no, no,
and
no,
that is
no,
how you yeah, but
no,
that's how you equate
no,
it to equality.
no.
That's what
They
I
deserve
that's
to
what I
have
s-
they deserve to have their flag, they deserve to have their time and their own space,
mhm.
because we did not allow them to have it in the first place. That's
Mhm.
like
No, no, no,
saying
I'm not.
white people deserve to have White People History Month. Are you kidding me?
No, it's
No,
not the
it
same.
is. It is. Are
It's
you
not.
kidding me? No way. No way, because we've been forced to have to accept you lot, because you lot was considered superior or the norm. So no, they deserve to have their own flags. They deserve to have their own
No, I'm
parade.
not saying
They
they don't
deserve to have
deserve
their
to
own
have their
month
own
of
flag.
recognition. They deserve to have that's their community. I'm one of those people, yeah. You know,
Mm-hmm.
at work, right? In the corporate world, they have this thing called BAME, and they love to bring up other races, yeah, when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
Black history or anything to do with racism against Black people. That's when you start
Yeah.
hearing about everybody else. I'm sorry to say, I don't care if it offends people, but you cannot compare the racial treatment Black people have had to any other race. You cannot. So don't
Mm-hmm.
group us as BAME. No, we're Black people. We're separate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very passionate about that. It's the same thing. They just like the LGBTQ plus community deserve to have their flag. We don't need to be on their flag. Let them have it. Let them have it. There's a
Yeah.
reason why
I
the flag is
think
there. Do you even know the reason behind the flag? Why it's there?
no, of course not. Of course not.
My friend, I suggest you go and educate yourself on it. Once you understand it more, then you would be like, you probably change your mind about that. I mean, I know you're stubborn and you might not, but I think you might. If you was to understand why they've got the flag in the first place, what it represents,
Mm-hmm.
then you would maybe understand why I've said what I just said now in
No,
that
no, no.
comparing.
I don't dispute the logic of what you're saying at all.
I know you don't
What I'm saying
agree.
is
I know you don't
no, no, no.
agree.
All I'm saying is just that I think in terms of if you want to, so if you remove yourself from, I guess, the history of what has happened
Yeah,
and what straight uh, communities have, or how straight communities have oppressed these people,
yeah.
if these people all identify as a group and do not include straight as a part of the group, then in fact, it's not a selection of all sexualities. It's just that does make being straight or heterosexual the default, and then them the other. That's what that perpetuates. Because in being
I get
proud,
where you're coming
they're
from with that.
not
I do,
celebrating
yeah,
all the different
I
types.
do get what you're coming where you're coming where you're coming from with that. But again, the reason why I brought up why there's not White History Month is because it's already been heterosexuality is already deemed as the normal default, and that's why they
Mhm,
should have their flag, have their time of recognition to bring more knowledge to the forefront for everybody that is not part of that community.
mhm,
Um, and whilst you're saying it perpetuates it, it's kind of like saying again that Black History Month perpetuates segregation between blacks and whites. And I've tried my best not to compare the two types of
mhm.
affliction and oppression, but it's the only way that I can illustrate it
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
anyone who kind of has the same sort of arguments that you have, is that
Yeah.
we cannot deny that anyone who is not heterosexual has been oppressed in the past, have not been
Mhm.
accepted, have been victims of abuse, bullying, all sorts of things like that. It's definitely not to the same extent as slavery for Black people. Absolutely not. Yeah,
Mhm.
but they've
Mhm.
experienced oppression, and for that reason alone, they do deserve to have this space or that space for them to
Mhm.
celebrate who they are and to bring more knowledge to the forefront to everybody else who's not part of that community.
Mhm.
They deserve to have that. And whilst it does, in a way, perpetuate segregation, it's the same way that things like Black History Month perpetuates separation. It's kind of that's how I see it for me personally. And
Mhm.
again, it would be interesting actually to hear from people from the LGBTQ community and hear what they have to say about that. Um, I'm j- I'm very much in general a I'm very much love your neighbor, love everyone as I would want to be loved. Which is the one of the fundamentals of being a Christian. And personally, as much like I said, a sin is a sin, so I'm not going to go into that. But just because they live their life differently to how I live my life, they have different feelings and a different sexual orientation or a different identity to me doesn't mean that I am above or superior or should be segregated from them. I
Mhm.
deserve to love and find love and be loved and be treated with respect. They deserve the exact same love, respect, and do you know what I mean? That's my argument
Mhm.
fundamentally. I don't care if people don't understand it. I don't care if people think logically it's not right or biologically how would we populate if blah blah blah. I don't care about all of that. As far as I'm concerned, if I have every right to be loved and to be respected as a heterosexual woman, as a black person, as whatever it is that the identity is, then so does everybody else in their own respective identity set. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the argument I'm making. And I don't think that we have reached that point because of these sorts of arguments that people want to make. So we're at the beginning when you said, to an extent, yes, whilst I can see why you would say that, because now if you say anything slightly that sounds like you are not approving of that lifestyle or that sexuality or of anyone within the LGBTQ plus community, is straight away branded as you are homophobic or you are not accepting. But I'm looking at it from the lens of a black person who might not have been, definitely was not around, definitely wasn't around during slavery, but I have experienced racial attack. I've experienced racial bullying. I've experienced microaggression simply because of the color of my skin. I've experienced segregation. Because of that, simply because of that, I totally understand the sensitivity around that. Like, okay, I'll give you an example, yeah, just to bring race into it. The other day I was getting my nails done because, you know, soft life all my life and I'm a girly girl. Get with it. Let's get my nails done. And the lady that was doing my nails was Oriental. I won't lie, I don't know what part
You're actually
of,
not allowed to say that.
well, I'm not allowed to say
The East
Oriental. There you
Asian.
go. So I didn't know that she was, I don't know what part of East Asia that she's from, but she was East Asian, right? And I watched her do a white girl's pedicure right next to me. She was gentle with her, right? Really polite and everything. Came to me now, and it was little things that she was doing, you know, little microaggressions she was doing, like moving my leg one way. At one point she even smacked my leg like back into the little like water, like this little tub thing where you soak your feet. She like smacked my, and in the beginning I just thought maybe she's just annoyed because it's a busy day and she's got to do a lot of people and she's trying to rush. Maybe it's that. And I had headphones in, so I thought, oh, maybe because she's maybe asking me to do something and I can't respond straight away because I can't hear her. Maybe that's what it is. But at one point I took the headphones out and I was like, let me pay attention. And she was still doing it. And I had to say to her, listen, can you be gentle with me, please? Like, why are you being rough? You're actually hurting me at this point. And she was like, oh, sorry. I don't think she realized she was doing it. I actually think it's conditioning. The whole black people can tolerate pain, so I can do whatever or whatever prejudice. That's a microaggression that was placed against me. Now, somebody might listen to this and think, you've taken it there. Why did you take it to race? But because of the sensitivities around racism, any little thing to me can be deemed as racism. It's the same thing. It's the same principle for the LGBTQ plus community. Any inkling of non-acceptance or anything negative, yes, I can see why they might see it as an attack on who they are and what they believe in. For the same reasons as a black person that I can deem anything from any other race as potentially being racist. I think once you look at it from that lens, it can change your perspective or your way of looking at it in that sense, and it can make you a bit more sensitive to even how you talk about it. Because I'm not gonna lie, earlier when you said some of the things you were saying, I was cringing on the inside thinking, if this was a conversation about race and a white person was saying those things to me, I would definitely see that as a racial thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's all I'm trying to.
No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. It's just got, it's you can have your beliefs, you can, well, as long as it's not hateful and hurtful, you can have your beliefs, but I just think people need to be more sensitive around the way that they talk about these things. Be more sensitive about what you say and how you express your opinion. And I know it kind of speaks to the whole people are not thick-skinned anymore and, you know, we've got to tiptoe around everyone, but it is the way it is because a lot of people have been hurt and oppressed and been put in really traumatic situations. We have to be sensitive. We cannot just move like we were moving 20 years ago, 10 years ago, where people were just talking anyhow, not being sensitive to the fact that people have really experienced some real horrific things off the back of color of their skin or sexual orientation or whatever it might be. So
Mm-hmm.
we do have to live. It's not unfortunate. We do have to be sensitive to other people. We need to talk to people and about people from a place of love, not from a place of judgment,
Is
not
it?
from a
Yeah.
place of
Mm-hmm.
thinking I'm logically correct or whatever, whatever. No, you're not. That's why I said, as a human race, you cannot compare me to a
Mm-hmm.
cow. You cannot compare me to a monkey. I am a human.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, all humans need to be treated with the same love and respect.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Period. Sorry, I had to kind of, change the mood
You wanted to.
because it was getting a bit too, too heavy. I had to kind of, jock it out a little bit. Yeah. Period. Said
It
that's
wasn't getting heavy for me. I still had mileage. I was like, we can still go deep, chat.
I think it's time for us to. I think, guys, it's time for me to. It hurts my heart, but I might have to trade in my co-host, for somebody else. Some of these comments, I don't
Hey,
know. I don't know. I don't want to get
gotta let
cancelled
people know, man.
because of me.
Listen, in this life, you cannot fear cancel culture.
Ah,
Cancel culture is nonsense culture. It's a culture whereby you do not value critical thinking. You do not value opinions that do not support your own belief. You do not value agreeing to disagree. And you do not value evolution either. That's cancel culture in a nutshell. Because you can think something today and then you can think something else tomorrow. And that's the beautiful thing about being a human being, is we're not fixed in any point in time. Hence, you've seen it in many different walks of life where someone even if you take it back to the LGBTQ plus community, a man born a man reaches a certain point in his life and he actually thinks, you know what? No, I'm a woman. And he's entitled to have that change. That transition is the exact opposite of cancel culture. So you cannot be fixated on the minutiae. You need to understand that people
how is that the
think
opposite of cancel?
critically.
How? Let's go back because you're saying
What
statements. Yeah, saying
transgender?
statements. Yeah. How is
Yeah,
that the opposite of cancel culture? How?
because that transition is allowed.
Yeah.
We appreciate that transition. We allow that transition. Cancel culture is the idea that people do not transition; they stay fixed. I say
No, cancel
today.
culture. Okay, we're gonna have to, guys. It looks like we've got a new episode that's been birthed out of this because cancel culture will definitely be discussed. We need to come back to this. This maybe next week. The unpicked
Cancel
topic will
culture.
be cancel culture. Boom, done, cool.
Let's
But
do
yeah,
it.
I think when it comes to what actual cancel culture is, I have to disagree with the comments you've made in terms of transitioning goes completely against what cancel culture is. I think the way canceling has been used, maybe, but not what cancel culture actually is. But I don't
Are
agree
we
with that.
talking this week or are we talking
No,
next
no, no. I
week?
just have to. No, no, no. Because you tried it. You tried to drop it in there and then cut it, and
I've
then I
not
don't.
said more.
I said
I've
my
not said
piece. I
more.
said my piece.
I've not
I don't
said
think you have.
more.
I must just say to you now. I don't think you have a true understanding of what cancel culture actually is. Take it as shade if
I
you
have
want
not
to, but we're
said
friends. It's
more.
cool. We'll come back to it next week.
I
But
have
yeah,
not said more.
coming back to this, I think this might be a good place to cut the convo. We might have to come back and do a part 2 because I feel like we've gone around the houses and we've tried to do too much, guys. Like, I know, I'm sorry, this episode was messy as hell because we've really both of us are talking from 2 different memos, but we'll come back to this conversation. We Just to let you guys know, we are going to start moving into having guests on the show. So this will probably be a good one to come back to when we have a member of the LGBTQ community as a guest, and we can really talk about it with them. And I would just like to see if Venom's going to be as bold as he was today and say some of these things that he's been saying, right?
Bold, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Because even me in my
I
chest, I
always,
felt it. I said, oh, "Damn, am I gonna keep that in?" We'll
I always
see.
speak from a place of love. So
I
it's
mean, I don't doubt that. It's the delivery, some of the words that were chosen. I don't know if I would have chosen them myself, but it is what it is. But yeah, guys,
mhm.
for now, based on what has been discussed, hopefully people haven't turned off the episode by now for being so, what's the word I'm looking for? Offended by what's been said. But if you've stayed this long, thank you so much for watching. Remember, it's all opinion here. It's not fact. And no matter what, we are both very respectful of everyone. And I mean, I know I'm accepting of everyone, so it is what it is. Do let us know in the comments how you feel about whether or not the LGBTQ plus, gosh, not me stumbling over the alphabet. Hello. The LGBTQ plus community, have they been accepted by our community? Let us know in the comments what your feelings are, what your thoughts are about that. Please, 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 please keep it respectful. This is the international internet, okay? And this podcast is not one that accepts or tolerates hateful speech. No. As normal, our socials will be at the bottom of the screen. Those of you that follow us on TikTok will notice that we officially have an Unpicked podcast TikTok. Yeah. Boy. Follow us on there, and you can also follow us on our individual TikToks as well. I will say, I don't post on Instagram like I'm posting on TikTok. I just have to say. I just have to say.
The Dami Zayn TikTok is kind of lit.
It's doing its thing.
You might want to check it out.
Thanks, bestie. I tried. I'll be posting every day on there, so you know. But yeah, guys, until next week.
Peace.
You're gonna get us in trouble.
Hey, Daddy.